Today, we're undertaking a very specific mission, really for you, our listener. We're trying to move away from all the noise, the constant pull of everything happening outside, and turn our full attention inward. Our goal isn't just quick knowledge, but, well, genuine insight into the nature of peace itself. And we're going to be guided by an ancient text that feels more relevant today than ever.
It really does. We're opening a source of immense depth and tranquility. And as is tradition when approaching these texts, it feels right to begin with the traditional reverence, just to set the tone for this deep dive. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa.
Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened one. It's a powerful way to start. It establishes that we're approaching this with, real respect for the wisdom here.
Our focus today is the Hadakkarata Sutta. It's a beautiful phrase in the Pali language. It's often translated as the discourse on the one who lives in the beauty of solitude.
But there are other translations too, right?
Yeah. Yes, some translate it as the ideal solitary life, or even, and I like this one, a single excellent night. It really signifies the perfection that you can find in just one well-spent moment.
That word solitude, though, it immediately conjures a very specific image for most of us, doesn't it? We think of someone retreating, going to a cabin, a mountain cave.
Yeah.
Basically escaping the world.
And that was certainly the common sort of literal interpretation even back in the Buddha's time. But the teaching in this sutta is so revolutionary because it steps away from that physical definition. The Buddha teaches that true solitude is not fundamentally about physical isolation. You don't have to run away.
And that's so crucial for anyone listening who feels, trapped by modern life. So if it isn't physical separation, what is Padakkarata? What is this ideal solitary life?
It's entirely internal. It describes a state of mind, a deep internal freedom that's achieved when the heart is no longer confused. The mind isn't caught up in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. The solitude is the clarity that comes from seeing the present moment exactly as it unfolds.
I think we need to linger on that because it just completely challenges our assumptions.
Yeah.
You're saying that the deep peace we imagine belongs to a hermit is actually accessible to someone in a bustling city with a busy job, a full family.
That is the profound, liberating insight of this text. You can live right here, right now, completely engaged with others, and still embody this deep internal solitude, because you're free from the internal noise. And conversely, someone can go to the most remote place imaginable, a monastery high in the mountains, and still be totally confused in their mind.
Because the mental habits are still running.
Exactly. The machinery of identification and craving is still active, so the solitude that really matters is internal.
That just resonates so much with the modern condition.
Yeah.
For you listening, it's that constant distraction. Our minds are always spinning, right? Regretting the past, worrying about the future, and just obsessed with defending this sense of me.
We live almost entirely in the past or the future, which means we're very rarely present. And so we're rarely at peace. The whole mission of the Padakkarata Sutta is to address this directly. It shows that liberation isn't somewhere else. It's not a future goal. It's available right here, right now, in this very moment.
So to start that journey, the source material says we have to look at the mechanisms of our own confusion. We have to deconstruct what we even mean when we say mind, thought, and I. We say, I think, so casually, assuming there's a permanent someone doing the thinking.
And that assumption that there's a solid, enduring me behind the thought, that's where the whole cycle of suffering begins. Let's break down those three elements.
Okay, let's start with the biggest one, the mind.
The mind. Well, it's maybe best understood as a field of awareness. Think of it like a clear, open, receptive space where experience happens. It's the capacity for knowing. And crucially, it's not inherently personal. It's not owned by anyone. It's just the stage.
The canvas.
The canvas, precisely. Then you have thought. Thoughts are the mental movements, the concepts, the stories, the images. All the things that arise and pass away within that field, they're just events.
And then the part that causes all the trouble, the sense of I.
Yes. The sense of I is the conceptual overlay. It's the story, the label of ownership that the mind puts on its own processes. It's the moment an experience becomes personal. This thought is mine. I am the one feeling this.
And this is where we have to slow down because this delusion happens so fast, we miss it completely. Can you walk us through how that self-identification actually generates suffering?
We can map it out in about 6 steps. And they happen in a flash, so they seem like one single thing. First, a simple experience. An object appears. Could be a sight, a sound, or even an internal thought.
Okay.
Second, consciousness arises. The mind just registers the event. There's just awareness. Third, and this is the most critical, subtle part, subtle identification begins. The mind just whispers, I see this, or this thought is coming from me.
And that's it. That's the point of no return, where a neutral event becomes personal.
Exactly. That's the pivot. Fourth, based on that ownership, the mind then builds a sense of self around the experience. If I think a smart thought, I think, I am an intelligent person. If I feel a pain, I think, I'm a person who is suffering. Fifth, from that self-affirmation, we get these powerful emotional reactions. Craving for what's pleasant, aversion to what's unpleasant, fear. And finally, sixth, from those reactions, the craving, the aversion, the resistance, comes suffering. All the anxiety, the anger, the shame, it all comes from that invisible foundational mistake.
It's really incredible. A whole lifetime of conflict comes from a mental habit that takes less than a second. This habit of claiming ownership.
The speed is why the source material says that without training, we're basically blind to reality. The Buddha used this powerful analogy of the person born blind.
The blindness analogy.
Right.
We can describe colors. White is like snow, red like fire. The blind person can listen, form concepts, become an expert in color theory even.
But they can't see color. They mistake the idea for the direct experience. And the sutta suggests that most of us are like that with our own minds. We think about the self, but we don't directly see how the self is manufactured moment by moment.
So what would direct seeing look like? Let's go back to that basic mechanism of perception.
Okay, using vision as the example. Experience needs three things to come together. The sensory organ, so the eye, the visible object, and the visual consciousness that responds. When those three meet, the text calls this contact. It's just seeing happening. It's a neutral event.
So seeing is the neutral contact, but it's the moment after that where we add the I.
Yes, the mind immediately adds the label of personal possession. I am seeing this and I don't like it. That little word, I, is the point of attachment. It's what turns a neutral event into a problem.
So if we strip that I away, what are we left with? This brings us to anatta non-self, and it's probably the most misunderstood concept. People hear non-self and they think it means nihilism, that nothing exists.
That is the common conceptual mistake, yes. And nasa doesn't mean you cease to exist. It just points out that there's no permanent, unchanging owner of experience. It emphasizes that existence is a continuous, dynamic, impersonal process. Your body is a process of changing cells. Your emotions are a process. Your thoughts are a process. None of it is a solid thing you can call I.
The freedom in that is realizing you can stop the exhausting job of trying to protect and perfect this illusion of a permanent self.
Exactly. When wisdom arises, you see thoughts as just habitual events. You see emotions as just conditioned reactions. The sense of I becomes just a useful label, like your name, but it's not your true essence. The practice is about letting that illusion dissolve, making it transparent so that wisdom and compassion can just arise naturally.
But the moment someone grasps this intellectually, a new trap appears, using the mind to try and solve the problem of the mind.
Yes, this is the ego's spiritual trap. The ego is incredibly clever. Even when you learn about the Dhamma, the mind immediately tries to grab it and say, I understand this. I am so much more enlightened now.
So the spiritual path itself becomes just another project for the ego, building a better, more spiritual me.
And that creates this huge gap between what you know intellectually and what you actually experience. I can know the concept of non-self.
But you still get furious when someone cuts you off in traffic.
Exactly. I have the intellectual understanding, but I lack the direct seeing. The ability to just witness the feeling, yeah, irritation is arising and passing, without making it personal.
And to try and bridge that gap, we often fall into overthinking. We analyze and analyze, hoping to think our way to freedom.
But that is usually just a form of resistance.
Resistance to what?
Resistance to the direct, raw experience of the present moment. By analyzing it, we're trying to keep it at a distance. The Buddha identified this as being driven by two specific hindrances: vicikiccha, which is doubt, and uddhacca, restlessness. The mind just gets stuck in a loop.
So thinking too much is a problem, but just sitting there passively leads to dullness. That's the other extreme. What's the right way, the right kind of energy?
It's the middle way, a path of balanced, skillful effort. The analogy is like tuning a guitar string.
If it's too slack, no sound. That's the dull mind.
And if it's too tight, it snaps. That's the forced, harsh effort that leads to burnout. The middle way is perfectly tuned. You're alert but relaxed, attentive but not tense, thoughtful but not obsessed.
And there's a term for that perfectly tuned effort, right? Yoniso manasikara, wise attention. Can we contrast that with our normal overthinking?
We can. Overthinking is endless analysis. It uses thought to escape the present, reinforcing the idea of a thinker who has to solve everything.
Right.
Wise reflection, yoniso manasikara, is totally different. It's brief and purposeful. You observe the mind gently. If a question comes up, you reflect on it for a moment, ask if it's useful, and then you immediately come back to direct experience, back to the breath. You're using thought as a tool for awareness, not as an escape from it.
So the key insight is that thought is a useful tool for, planning your day or learning a skill,
Absolutely essential.
but it is not the path to liberation itself.
Liberation comes from practice, from direct experiential seeing. You listen to the teachings, you reflect a little, and then you go and verify them in the laboratory of your own life.
To make that distinction even clearer, the source material gives us a really powerful metaphor.
The story of the dog in the mirror. It's a classic teaching tool to show how delusion works and how to undo it.
So imagine a dog. It sees its reflection for the very first time. It has no idea what a mirror is. What does it do?
It sees what it thinks is another dog, a threat, and it reacts instantly. It barks, it snarls, it might even attack the glass. It creates this whole violent conflict where, objectively, there's no threat at all. The dog is completely fooled because it doesn't understand the nature of the mirror.
And we are that dog, and our mind is the mirror. Let's map this out.
The comparison is chillingly accurate. It begins with that neutral sensory contact we talked about. Seeing happens. Hearing happens. That's the neutral event reflected by the mirror.
But then our mind, like the dog, immediately adds a layer of personalization onto that reflection.
Precisely. The mind creates a mental image, a concept, and instantly tags it with me or mine. A sound arises, and the mind says, that noise is disrupting my meditation. A thought arises. This bad feeling belongs to me.
We're constantly turning the neutral flow of phenomena into my problem, my success, my life story.
And it happens across all the senses, mental objects too. Someone sends an email you don't like. The mind reflects the words and immediately creates a sense of personal offense. They attacked me. This exhausting, ongoing struggle to defend the me is just like the dog fighting its own reflection.
So if the dog could somehow find wisdom,
Right.
what would happen?
If the dog had wisdom, it would see the reflection and realize, that's just an image. It's not a real dog. There's no threat. And it would stay calm. The barking would stop even though the reflection is still there. The misunderstanding is gone.
And that moment of realization is what wise attention, yoniso manasikara, does for us.
When we practice seeing clearly, we drop the I. Instead of I am so anxious, we see a conditioned fear is arising. Instead of I'm a terrible person, we see a habitual pattern of judgment is appearing in the mind. We're just observing the process without claiming ownership.
And when you see something as just a transient process, its power over you dissolves.
That is the path. The Buddha asked, who convinces us this experience belongs to a permanent I? No one. The mind fools itself. It's the dog misinterpreting the mirror.
The hope in that, though, is that the same mind that creates the illusion has the capacity to see through it. We don't have to destroy the reflection. We just have to see it so clearly that it becomes transparent.
Now, moving from this idea of the mirror to the reality of practice. Many people will hear this, feel this profound clarity, and then they'll sit down to meditate and be immediately overwhelmed by the chaos of their own mind.
It's that common cycle, isn't it? I sit down for peace and my mind's is a mess. I'm just lost in thought. Nothing's happening. What's missing in that struggle?
The understanding that internal solitude isn't passive. It requires energy. It requires strengthening sati, which is mindfulness, and virya, which is persistent, skillful effort.
This brings us to the two wings of practice that have to be developed together. Samatha and vipassana. Can you explain their relationship?
Certainly. Samatha is about developing concentration and tranquility. It's the ability to keep the mind steady on one thing, like the breath. This brings calm, or samadhi. Vipassana is the other wing. That's insight. The ability to see the true nature of things, impermanence, non-self. So samatha gives you the stable mind you need to see clearly, and vipassana is the clear seeing that dissolves the confusion.
So if the mind is too weak, if the virya is low, neither of those can really develop. How do we apply that effort without it becoming a harsh struggle?
The effort is about persistence, not strain. The texts talk about atina, a strong resolution. It's a compassionate determination, like training a puppy.
So you make a resolution. For the next 20 minutes, no matter how many times my mind wanders, I'm going to gently bring it back to the breath.
That gentle persistence is the effort. You notice the mind has wandered, you acknowledge it. Thought about dinner, and you guide it back. Here is the breath again. Repeating that patient act again and again is what trains the mind. That's how it eventually settles.
What if the mind is more than just distracted? What if it's completely hijacked by a strong emotion, like anxiety or anger, when it's too agitated to even find the breath?
In those states, the Buddha recommended shifting from the head to the heart through mettavavana, the practice of loving kindness.
Can you explain the process of metta?
It's a deliberate cultivation of warm-heartedness. You sit quietly and bring to mind someone you love unconditionally, a child, a mentor, even a pet, and you slowly, gently repeat phrases trying to really feel them. May they be well and happy, may they be safe, may they be healthy and strong.
And the power of this is that it completely changes the energy of the mind. It goes from contracted and resistant to open and accepting.
Exactly. And after you cultivate that for a loved one, you extend it to yourself, which can be the hardest part, then to neutral people, and eventually even to difficult people. It softens the heart, it reduces ill will, and it brings the mind to a wholesome state where it's ready for focused attention. It's an essential tool.
This leads us right to the things we need to learn to recognize. The panicanivaranta, the 5 hindrances. These are the main obstacles that cloud the mirror of the mind.
Recognizing them is vital because they are specific, habitual reactions. Let's go through them one by one.
Okay, number 1, sensual desire, kamacchanda.
This is the mind's craving for pleasant things. In meditation, it shows up as fantasies, planning your next meal, replaying a happy memory, wanting to get up and do something more comfortable. The mind is constantly pulling away from the now towards some other satisfaction. The antidote is to see its impermanence. You see the craving as just a strong, conditioned pull, and you return to the breath.
Number 2, ill will, vyapada.
This is any form of resistance. Anger, resentment, irritation. In modern life, it's that internal loop of frustration with a coworker or anger at something you read online. In meditation, it's often frustration with yourself. I'm so bad at this, or at a noise.
And the antidote for that.
Loving kindness. Start with compassion for yourself. Recognize that holding anger only hurts you. By intentionally generating metta, you counteract the cold contraction of ill will. You see the angry thought arise, you acknowledge it, and you let it go.
Number 3, sloth and torpor, thidamitta. The heaviness. So many people struggle with this.
Yes, it's a lack of energy. Mental fogginess, dullness, drowsiness, the mind just drifts. In modern life, this is what drives mindless scrolling or binge watching, just a numb state.
What's the intelligent way to counter it?
You have to activate the mind and body. You can't be passive. You have to increase alertness, stand up, take some deep breaths, splash water on your face. You strengthen the intention to be awake and clear.
Number 4, restlessness and remorse, udakukucha. This feels like the classic modern hindrance, the racing mind.
It is. Restlessness is the mind jumping from worry to planning. Remorse is the heavy self-judgment over past actions. The mind is just buzzing. The antidote is grounding. Bring all your attention back to the physical anchor of the present moment, the feeling of your body on the chair, the rhythm of the breath. Use metta to soothe the guilt.
And finally, number 5, doubt, vicikiccha.
This is that wavering conviction. Am I doing this right? Is this even working? Is this all just a waste of time?
Yeah.
It undermines your commitment. The antidote is to verify the teachings for yourself. Recall the small moments of clarity the practice has given you. And most of all, see doubt itself as just another thought, a fleeting mental state that can't actually stop you.
So when these powerful forces come up, and they will, the effort to virya has to be intelligent and compassionate, not harsh.
The commitment needs to be strong, but the approach must be gentle. The texts use this intense image of a warrior's resolve. Even if my flesh and blood dry up, I will not abandon my effort. Now that sounds harsh, but it speaks to a commitment to freedom. The resolve isn't against yourself, it's for yourself. Every gentle, patient return to the breath, moment by moment, is that courageous commitment.
And now we get to the heart of the sutta itself. The verses that give the practical instructions for living this way moment to moment, they speak directly to our relationship with time.
They do. These are the distilled instructions, the roadmap. Verse 1, do not chase the past, atitas nanvagameya. Translated, it means, the past should not be pursued or followed after.
Why is that so damaging? Our memories define us, don't they?
Well, many people live almost entirely in their past. They replay old grievances, old regrets, or they cling to past glories. But the past is literally non-existent now. Dwelling on it is a pure form of suffering.
But there's a difference between wise reflection and unhealthy dwelling.
A huge difference. Wise reflection is learning a lesson from the past for skillful action now and then letting it go. Unhealthy dwelling is obsessively rerunning the event, which just poisons the present. One is a tool, the other is a prison.
And if the past is a prison, the future is, well, it's a trap of its own.
Verse 2. Do not grasp the future. Napatikanki anagata. The future should not be longed for or grasped after.
This is the home of anxiety. We spin endless what-if scenarios, and our happiness becomes totally dependent on things that haven't even happened.
This grasping is the root of anxiety. A wise person plans, of course. They save money, they set goals, but they don't grasp at the future. They don't stake their present happiness on something they can't control. The insight is that peace is only ever available right now.
So by releasing the past and the future, all that energy becomes available for the only time that it actually exists, the here and now. This is the core teaching.
Verse 3. See the present moment clearly. The Pali is so rich. It means the past is abandoned, the future has not arrived, but whatever state is present, based on conditions, there he sees clearly, moment by moment.
That idea of the present as pakapana, present arising, is so dynamic. It's not a fixed point in time. It's this continuous unfolding.
And that unfolding is governed by pakasamapada-dependent origination. The law that everything arises because of causes and conditions, nothing is random and nothing is created by a permanent self.
Okay, let's make that less technical. If I'm sitting here and I suddenly feel a flash of irritation, how does dependent origination apply?
That irritation doesn't come from nowhere. It's conditioned. Maybe by the memory of an argument from this morning that's a past condition. Maybe you're tired or hungry, a physical condition. Maybe there's a loud noise outside, an external condition. When those conditions meet, irritation arises. It's an impersonal process.
And the insight, the vipassana, is seeing that process, seeing the irritation arise, peak, and pass, and knowing it's just a conditioned event. So it's not my fault, and it's not permanently me.
When you see that clearly, moment by moment, the sense of ownership dissolves. The anger is just an event, not an identity. This direct seeing breaks the chain of identification. That's the shift from suffering to freedom.
And what's the results of living this way, with this moment-to-moment attention?
Verse 4, the mind becomes stable and unshaken. Asehera sakapatevid vermano bruhai. Unshaken, unconfused, such a wise one develops the path.
The mind achieves a sahira stability. It's not pulled back by the past or pushed forward by anxiety. It's centered.
This is deep equanimity. The wise mind can meet all of life's ups and downs, gain and loss, pleasure and pain, with steady wisdom. This isn't coldness. It's the freedom to engage with life fully, to feel joy without clinging to it, and to meet loss without being shattered by it.
And the sutta closes this teaching with a real sense of urgency.
Verse 5. Strive today. Today, one should strive with diligence. It's a call to immediate action. Don't put this off. Don't wait until life is less chaotic.
Why the urgency?
Verse 6. Death is not negotiable. Kajanya Sube. Who knows if death will come tomorrow? There is no contract with the great army of death. This is the final wake-up call. Life is precious and it's uncertain. The only opportunity we have to find peace is right now, in this moment, with this breath.
And the person who integrates all of this, free from the past, free from the future, wise in the present, that is the Bhattacharanta. They live in the beauty of internal solitude.
We've gone through a deep analysis here, but it's so important to emphasize that this teaching is practical. It's not just philosophy. The real understanding only comes from direct, lived experience.
Right. We can talk about non-self for hours, but until you actually sit and watch a thought arise and pass away without grabbing it, it's all just a concept, like the blind person in color theory.
And let's revisit solitude and connection. This internal freedom doesn't lead to loneliness. Actually, it's the opposite. When your mind is clear and stable, you can participate in relationships and your community much more fully, more authentically. True internal solitude allows for true external intimacy.
So the path is totally accessible. You don't need any special equipment or to go anywhere. The tools are right here. Your mind, your breath, your awareness, and this present moment.
For anyone who wants to bring these teachings into their daily life, we can offer a simple, structured guide.
Let's break it down. Morning, during the day, and evening.
The morning sit. Try for 20 minutes when you wake up. Use the breath as your anchor. When the mind wanders, use the sutta's phrases. If it goes to the past, just note, the past is abandoned. I am here now. If it goes to the future has not arrived. I am here now. And then gently return to the breath.
During the day. This is about active practice. Take strategic pauses. between meetings, before you check your phone. Just take 3 deep breaths and ask, where's my mind right now? If it's lost, gently bring your awareness back to what you're doing. Just observe what's arising without identifying with it.
In the evening, just 5 minutes of gentle reflection before bed. Not regret. Gently review the day. Notice the moments you were present and the moments you were lost. Acknowledge it all without judgment and just renew your intention for tomorrow.
And what's the result of this kind of consistent, gentle effort?
The transformation is real. The mind gets quieter, more stable. You feel less reactive. You start to genuinely enjoy simple things more fully because your mind is actually there for them. And a real compassion for yourself and others starts to grow because you see everyone is caught in the same trap. Wisdom arises from your own experience.
So it's not about getting a perfect life, but about having a clear mind that can meet life as it is, with wisdom and an open heart.
The Buddha's invitation is always personal. Come and see for yourselves. Don't take my word for it. Practice and verify it through your own experience. Your own capacity to see clearly is the only real authority.
So to bring it all home, we can return one last time to that mirror analogy. This deep dive shows us that we spend our lives trying to create freedom by rearranging things on the outside. But freedom isn't achieved. It just emerges when the confusion dissolves.
Wisdom, peace, compassion. They aren't things you have to build from scratch. They are your true nature. They're just obscured by the dust of habit, the layers of ownership we put on our own reflections. The practice is simply the patient, compassionate cleaning of the mirror.
The path of the Bhattacharya teaches us that the exhausting, lifelong struggle to defend a permanent me is the root of all our distraction. And the true reward is gained only when we finally stop fighting with the present moment.
Sabe sata bhavantu sukhitata.
May all beings be well and happy.
Sabe sata bhavantu aniga.
May all beings be free from suffering.
May the internal solitude of wisdom grow in all hearts.